Welcome back again to Brown Neck Reviews, and I am that guy from Brown Neck Reviews. And today I just want to go over a 500 round update on my Tisas B9R dual stack 1911. This is clear, all right, and nothing in the chamber, all right. So I've had this gun for a couple months now, or a couple weeks. I don't know. I don't remember. But so far this gun has impressed me. Not really much to say in the way of any kind of issues with it, but you'll see in the rundown on the update that I do well when I go to the range. I clean this specific gun, specifically 1911s, all the time. After every range trip, they have a precision machining, so I want to make sure that they are clean every time. Otherwise, I don't want any of the carbon to build up in there and create a sludge, which then basically just sands everything down like sandpaper. With 1911s, I think it's more sensitive to that kind of stuff. My Glocks, I barely clean those, but these, if I have a 1911, like my other one, my Rock Island, I will clean that after every range trip just to make sure that they are functioning correctly. And so usually I'll run about 100 to about 200 rounds each time I go to the shooting range. And after each of those trips, I will clean it. And so far, I think it's been doing good because the gun is still pretty tight. Not too much in the way of any kind of play or anything on the components. And it's been very, very good. So without further ado, let's go to the rundown. All right, so this is a update on my Tisas B9R Carry. This is a Generation 2 model. All right, so I wanted to go over a couple things with this gun, and you'll see that I put it in its original case. I also have the tool to adjust my Optic, the little vortex tool that they supply for their Defender CCW that I'm running on here. Right, so I'm running a Defender CCW. Okay, and I run this because this slide actually accepts RMSC directly onto the slide, but I do have the little 1 degree shim that was supplied by Vortex on there, because apparently, I guess some people run these on the internet with that shim to aid in giving a little bit more overhead for your elevation adjustment on the Optic itself. The slide itself on this is cut for a RMSC, and when you mount the Defender onto this, it will co-witness on a lower 1/3. So if you look right here on there, I don't know if you can see the dot, but you'll see the actual, oh, there's the dot right there, and you can see the irons right there. There's a little green thing in the middle right there, and it'll lower 1/3 co-witness directly because of that Optic mount that is directly cut into the slide. I really don't have any preference for an RMR. I know some people want to use the RMR for the bigger window, but I don't have that preference. I actually like this slimmer, smaller profile on this. All right, so you can see the profile of the Optic is pretty much to the slide, but yet the window is still a little bit taller so that you can have a larger window for that dot to show up. All right. I did have to do my front sight post because it started walking off. But what I did was I bedded this with red Loctite underneath there, and then I used a front sight tool to put it on there. If I ever need to take it out, I'll just apply a little bit of heat and use the same tool to take it out. And after about 200 rounds, it has not moved at all. All right. The magazines on here perform perfectly. This right here is my TLR1HL that I mounted onto it. And I mounted this light on here specifically because I am using a Black Hawk Carnivore holster, right? This holster is great. I'm going to do a little mini review on this soon because it works with not only my Tisas double stack, but also with my other guns, including my Glock, or Glock clone that has a, what do you call it? The Strike Industries mass driver on it. All right. But yeah, this is the holster that I'm using, and you will see that it goes right in perfectly onto there. All right. Oh, sorry. All right. So you can see it goes in there perfectly, and then there's a little button that you push in there to release it, and goes in there really, really nicely. All right. So this is the Black Hawk Carnivore for the TLR1, and it's been great so far. And I also do have the QLS adapter for it, so I can use it with my QLS rig that I have going on. Okay, so let's look at it a little bit more. All right, a couple things that I did. Oh well, the slide itself is very nice. Okay, so it's really smooth. Okay, I did change out the springs to an Atlas Gunworks 12-pound recoil spring, as well as a number 19 mainspring for the trigger. All right, and I also added this right here, which are handle it. What do you call it? Grip tape, I guess. But this grip tape has been really good. When I took out the housing right here, I took off some of that grip tape on here, so I actually had to cut it, but that's okay. There's another piece in there I'm probably going to put on there. But as far as grip and texture, this thing's pretty awesome. I got it for pretty cheap on Amazon. Again, these are handle it grips. And oh, and by the way, I'm not sponsored by any of these people at all. I just like their stuff. It was really a good price, and this is kind of a value 2011. If you can say that $600 is a value, I still think it's pretty expensive. But yeah, the grips work great. The other thing is, this is the bull barrel version. So if we look, so there it is. It does have the, again, version 2 bull barrel along with the full length guide rod. I haven't decided yet if I want to get the, I think it's Dawson Precision, what is it called? The toolless guide rod, but this one seems to be working fine. And after changing out to that 12-pound recoil spring, it's not such a pain in the butt to change out. I've had no function problems with this, probably because when I think after about 200 rounds, I polished out some stuff. But even before that, I did not have any problems with it. As far as any kind of ejection issues or loading issues, everything loaded just fine. I use basically remanufactured ammo. I try to find the cheapest ammo that I can use because I believe that any gun that I have, shouldn't be picky about the ammo that it uses. I should be able to use any kind of ammo that is formatted in that specific caliber for any of my guns. And so I use the cheapest on here, and partially to test to see how sensitive it is to ammo, and also because it's cheap. And I don't use any kind of target or reloaded ammo on any of my pistols or rifles. As long as it's NATO spec, I'll use it. I did have one issue, but it wasn't gun related. It was actually ammo related. I guess one of the rounds of that remanufactured ammo didn't have enough powder, so it caused this to have a squib inside there. And the people at the range that I go to were able to take it out without doing any damage to the barrel. Thank you guys over at Discount Firearms Range here in Las Vegas. And also I want to give a shout out to the RSO over there. His name is Calvin out there. He's a really good guy as a CEO, full-time, and I guess he does a part-time RSO over at Discount Firearms. But he actually looked at this gun and tested it, and he thought it was really smooth. And so I don't have too much experience with a lot of 1911s, just this one right here. But he said it was a really smooth gun, and it shot great. So I'll take his word for it on this. But as far as my experience goes, I had a great time with this gun. It was probably one of the best shooting pistols that I've ever owned. Even better than my 45 caliber 1911. It's just in 9mm, so the recoil mitigation was a lot less. And also, I have two Glock clones that are, one of them is comped and the other one has porting on it. This actually felt better, and I don't know if it's because of the weight on this thing, but it just shot great after, but that was after I had changed out the recoil spring to a 12-pound recoil spring and a 19-pound or number 19 mainspring on here. Working on this gun is really easy. It's a little bit more involved than your typical Glock. But there are videos. There was one guy specifically, I think is firearms engineer or something, or tactical engineer. I don't remember what his channel is, but he does a great job of going through how to polish different components on here and what you need to look out for as far as these guns go. And I watched his videos on polishing and where to polish and what to polish, as far as on this gun. He does have his ported on here. That's something that I don't know if I really want to do it with this. I may go with a external option on this, but for now, this thing shoots great, and I don't really see any reason to go to a ported barrel or a comped barrel at this point. The gun shoots awesome. After 500 rounds, like I said, the gun itself has had no issues. It shot great even before I did the spring change on it, and it shot even better after the spring change for the 12 and 19 pound. Now, your results may vary depending on how you shoot and what you shoot, but as far as my own personal results, I love it. Okay, it's been awesome. So this is currently, I think it is my favorite pistol. I know you Glock guys out there are probably like, oh, 1911, but yeah, I think I think a lot has to be said for a design that's lasted over 100 years and is still in use today with various militaries and departments that still use this weapon format. Everything else is still great. You know, the safety clicks great. Oh, I did do an adjustment on the trigger pull. So now this trigger, with just that little adjustment, is actually down to, see here, I'm gonna show you on camera as much as I can right here. If I can get it there, right there. Oh no, I had my finger on it. So if you look at that, it is right under, I think, 3.5 pounds or so under there. Let me see if I can get that in the camera right there. Yeah, right under 3.5 pounds. The only thing that I did to the trigger group is polishing it, basically. But if you are going to start polishing components within the trigger group, I would recommend that you first look online, look on YouTube on how to polish 1911 hammer and sears. Okay, because there's a lot that goes into that, and a lot of stuff that you need to be careful about before going into that kind of endeavor. All right. The easiest thing to do to get the trigger weight down, the trigger weight itself, is to do the adjustment on the leaf. But even that, you know, I would look at seeing how that is. But yeah, I want to show you a little bit of this and the 500 round update on my Tisas B9R Generation 2 Carry. All right, again, this is the Generation 2 with the bull barrel and the full length guide rod. Again, this has been a great gun so far. 500 rounds, no issues, no ejection issues, no loading issues. And again, I am not sponsored by any of these people. I just want to, you know, give my experience on various things that I have. All right. All right. So, and with that, that is all I have for you today. Again, I am that guy from Brown Wreck Reviews, and there it is. I do like to put stuff back in the boxes, you know, just like when you're a kid and, you know, you put your toys back in the box so it looks new again. But with that, God bless you. God bless America, and God bless the troops. Amen.